I remember the exact moment everything started to unravel. It was a rainy Thursday evening, the kind where the drops pattering against the window feel like a countdown to something inevitable. I was scrolling through my phone, absent-mindedly, when a message popped up, one that wasn't meant for me. At first, I thought it was a mistake, a wrong number perhaps, but the name and the words quickly crushed that hope. It was from him, my boyfriend, to someone else. The words were affectionate, intimate, and brutally clear. I sat frozen, the screen glowing in the dark like a betrayal tattooed onto my heart. The shock hit me like a tidal wave, sudden and overwhelming. My breath caught and I couldn't move. I reread the message over and over, hoping to find some hidden meaning, some hint that I had misunderstood. But there was no ambiguity. The warmth I thought we shared was a lie, masked by carefully crafted words and stolen moments. I felt my world tilt, the foundation of trust crumbling beneath me. How could someone who promised forever write such words to another? My mind raced, trying to reconcile the man I loved with the man who had betrayed me. I didn't confront him right away. Instead, I sat in silence, fighting the urge to scream, to cry, to run away. The apartment felt suffocating, every corner whispering memories of laughter and promises. I remembered the nights we stayed up talking about our future, the plans we made that now felt like cruel jokes. The betrayal wasn't just in the message, it was in every moment he had been untrue. I felt foolish, like a character in a tragedy who ignored all the signs until the final act. But I also felt a strange kind of anger brewing inside me, powerful and raw. Days passed and I became a ghost in my own life. I went through the motions, work, friends, family, but inside I was unraveling thread by thread. I tried to reach out to him to demand answers, but he was elusive, playing the part of the innocent, the victim even. Each excuse felt like a slap, each denial a sharper knife. The man I loved had turned into a stranger, and the distance between us grew with every lie. I was drowning in questions, desperate for the truth, yet terrified of what it might be. One evening, I found myself standing outside his apartment, the rain soaking through my coat as I debated whether to knock or turn away. My heart hammered wildly, caught between hope and despair. I didn't want to be the person who begged for loyalty, but I needed to hear it from him, his voice, his truth. When the door finally opened and I saw him standing there, hesitant and guilty, the floodgates broke. Words poured out of me, a torrent of pain and accusation, and for the first time he didn't deny. His confession was a bitter pill, but it was also a strange relief. He told me about the loneliness he felt, the mistakes he made, and the moments he wished he could take back. But the damage was done, and I realized that love alone wasn't enough to mend what was broken. The betrayal had cast a shadow over everything we had built, and no amount of apologies could erase the hurt. I stood there, tears streaming down my face, grappling with the reality that the man I loved was deeply flawed, and maybe, just maybe, that love wasn't enough. After that night, I knew I had to make a choice. Staying would mean living with doubt and pain, while leaving promised the unknown but also the possibility of healing. The days that followed were a blur of packing, phone calls, and quiet moments of reflection. Each item I packed felt like shedding a layer of the past, a painful but necessary act. My friends offered support, their presence a lifeline in the storm. But the hardest part was facing myself, accepting that I deserved better, that my heart was worth more than betrayal. Moving out was both freeing and terrifying. The apartment, once a symbol of shared dreams, now felt like a cage of memories. I found solace in small things, a cup of coffee on the balcony, a walk in the park, the warmth of a familiar book. Slowly, I started to rebuild piece by piece. The nights were still long and lonely, but I learned to sit with the silence instead of fearing it. The pain didn't vanish overnight, but it became a part of my story, a testament to my resilience. In the weeks that followed, I discovered parts of myself I had forgotten, the fierce independence that had drawn me to him in the first place, the dreams I had set aside for us. I took up old hobbies and made new friends, letting laughter seep back into my life. Still, the ghost of betrayal lingered, a quiet reminder of the lessons learned. I realized that healing wasn't linear. Some days were harder than others, and that was okay. What mattered was moving forward, even when the path was uncertain. One afternoon, as I was sorting through a box of old letters, I stumbled upon a note he had written early in our relationship. It was full of hope and love, a stark contrast to the person he had become. Holding that paper, I felt a strange mix of sorrow and gratitude. Sorrow for what was lost, but gratitude for the clarity that pain had brought. Love had been real once, even if it had ended in betrayal. And maybe, just maybe, that love was the reason I could find the strength to start again. I won't pretend the road ahead is easy. There are moments when doubt creeps in, when I wonder if I'll ever fully trust again. But I also know that the scars of betrayal have taught me to value honesty, to listen to my instincts, and to never settle for less than I deserve. This chapter of my life is far from over, and the wounds are still fresh. But I'm learning to hold my head high, to face each day with courage, and to believe that love, true love, is still possible, even after betrayal. Sometimes late at night, I catch myself replaying the memories, the laughter, the whispered promises, the warmth of his embrace. It's a bittersweet ache, a reminder that love is complicated, messy, and sometimes painful. But it's also a testament to how deeply we can feel, how fiercely we can hope. I'm sharing my story here not just to heal, but to connect with others who have walked this difficult path. Because in the midst of betrayal, we are not alone. The truth is, love doesn't always come wrapped in fairy tales. Sometimes, it arrives tangled with pain and disappointment. But that doesn't mean it's not worth fighting for. I've come to understand that betrayal is not a reflection of my worth, but a fracture in someone else's integrity. And while it's tempting to close off, to build walls around my heart, I choose to believe in the possibility of healing, of forgiveness, and of new beginnings. The hardest part is learning to trust again, not just others, but myself. To trust my judgment, my feelings, my resilience. I'm still navigating that journey step by step, day by day. Some days the weight feels heavier, the memories sharper. Other days the future glimmers with hope. And through it all, I'm discovering a strength I didn't know I had, a capacity to love and be loved without losing myself. Love in the time of betrayal is a paradox, where hope and heartbreak coexist, where endings are also beginnings. This isn't just my story, it's a story many of us share in silence. And by speaking it aloud, by laying bare the pain and the courage, I hope to shine a light on the complexities of love. Because even in betrayal, there is a glimmer of something beautiful, the chance to grow, to heal, and to love again. I still catch myself wondering about him, what he's doing, who he's with, if he ever thinks about the promises broken. But those questions no longer have the power to consume me. Instead, they remind me of how far I've come, how I've reclaimed my story from the shadows of deception. It's a messy, imperfect process, but it's mine. And for the first time in a long time, I feel like I'm moving towards a future where love is not defined by betrayal, but by resilience and hope. Tonight, as I sit by the window watching the city lights flicker, I feel a quiet strength settling in my chest. The pain hasn't disappeared, but it no longer controls me. I'm learning to live with the contradictions of love, the joy and the sorrow, the trust and the doubt. And maybe that's what it means to truly love, to hold space for the imperfections, to embrace the uncertainty, and to keep moving forward, even when the path is unclear. There are moments when I still reach for my phone, half expecting a message that will never come. But instead of despair, I feel a strange sense of peace. The chapters of our story have closed, but my book is still being written. And as I turn the page, I'm reminded that love is not just about who stays, but about the strength to let go. It's about finding yourself amidst the ruins and daring to hope for something better. I share this not as a tragic tale, but as a testament to the complexity of human connection. Love can be messy, imperfect, and painful, but it can also be transformative. Betrayal doesn't have to be the end. It can be the catalyst for growth, for rediscovery, and for deeper understanding. My journey is ongoing, filled with twists and turns, but I'm committed to walking it with my heart open and my eyes wide. Some days the weight of betrayal feels unbearable, and I want nothing more than to retreat into solitude. But then a kind word from a friend, a moment of unexpected laughter, or a quiet sunset reminds me of the beauty still present in the world. Love isn't just the grand gestures or perfect moments. It's found in resilience, in forgiveness, and in the courage to keep going. And that's a love I'm learning to embrace. Every story has its shadows, and mine is no different. But instead of letting the darkness consume me, I'm learning to find light within it. The lessons of betrayal have sharpened my sense of self, deepened my capacity for empathy, and strengthened my resolve. This journey has been painful, yes, but it's also been a powerful reminder of how fiercely we can survive and how beautifully we can heal. I still haven't figured out all the answers, and maybe I never will, but I'm learning to live with the questions, to sit with the uncertainty without losing hope. Love in the time of betrayal is a dance between holding on and letting go, between pain and possibility. And as I navigate this delicate balance, I'm discovering that the most important love is the one I give myself, the love that refuses to be broken. Sometimes, when the night is quiet and the world feels distant, I write letters I'll never send, words poured out to the man who betrayed me, to the girl I used to be, and to the woman I'm becoming. Writing helps me untangle the knots of emotion, to make sense of the chaos within. It's a small act of healing, a way to reclaim my voice and my story, and every word brings me closer to peace. The road ahead is long, and the scars will always remain, but I no longer see them as marks of weakness. They are badges of survival, proof that I endured the storm and emerged with my heart intact. Love in the time of betrayal is a story still being written, and I'm determined to be its author, not a victim of circumstance, but a woman who dares to hope, to forgive, and to love again. There are moments when I catch a glimpse of myself in the mirror and barely recognize the woman staring back. She's stronger, yes, but also softer, more compassionate. Betrayal stripped away the illusions, but it also revealed a deeper truth about who I am and what I deserve. And that truth is becoming my anchor as I navigate the uncertain waters of healing and love. Some nights I dream of a future where trust is no longer a fragile thread, but a sturdy bridge. A future where love isn't shadowed by doubt, but illuminated by honesty and respect. Those dreams keep me going, even when reality feels harsh. Because love in the time of betrayal isn't just about surviving the past, it's about daring to believe in a better tomorrow. I've learned that forgiveness isn't about forgetting or excusing pain. It's about freeing myself from the chains of resentment, about reclaiming my peace. It's a process that takes time and courage, but it's also one of the most profound acts of self-love. And as I move through this journey, I'm discovering that forgiveness is not a destination, but a path, one I'm willing to walk, step by step. The hardest lesson has been accepting that some people don't change, no matter how much we hope or pray. The man I loved was flawed in ways I couldn't fix, and holding on only prolonged my suffering. Letting go was painful, but it was also liberating. It taught me that love is not about possession or control, but about respect and freedom for both myself and the other person. There are days when I still feel the sting of betrayal like a fresh wound, raw and aching, but those moments are becoming fewer, softened by time and perspective. I'm learning to cherish the good memories without being trapped by the bad. Love in the time of betrayal is a paradox, but it's also a journey toward wholeness, a journey I'm determined to complete on my own terms. Sometimes I catch myself smiling at the thought of the future, a future where love is a source of joy, not pain. A future where I am whole, healed, and open to new possibilities. That vision keeps me moving forward, even when the path is rocky, because love, in all its forms, is worth fighting for, and I'm ready to fight for the love that respects me, honors me, and lifts me up. The story isn't over yet. Each day brings new challenges and new chances to grow, but I face them with a heart that's been broken and mended, a spirit that's been tested and strengthened. Love in the time of betrayal is messy, complicated, and painful, but it's also real. And this is my story, raw and unfolding, as I continue to navigate the tangled dance of love, loss, and hope.